And are we live? What the hell is that red thing? Oh well, let me take that off. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Saron's Reviews. My name's Mark, and in this video, this live stream, I'm gonna be doing a review of fruit roll-ups and Rice Krispie Treats home style chocolate. All right. No, I'm just kidding. What an episode! All right, let me start with a bit of a criticism. All right. What happened with Maylee's? Not in canon. What happened with Rainy's? Not in canon. It was a spectacle. It was amazing to watch. But my biggest critique is that it wasn't in canon. All right, but look, let's be fair. It was awesome to watch. All right. Now, this episode is going to require a rewatch for sure. On a scale from 1 to 10, a 12. It was amazing, right? Okay, let's be honest. Probably like a 13, right? There are some things that if I think what they means, right? And I'll explain that obviously here in a second. I'm just trying to gather my thoughts. That's why I wanted to rewatch the episode, but I can't do that because I got to go live. I was talking with my buddy Raised to Alba, and he said that there's a way to get the episodes early by emailing, I think something like emailing HBO somehow. I don't know. It would be cool if I could get the last episode early, and I'm going to try to like message somebody at HBO's marketing so I could watch the episode twice before I do this live stream, because I know episode 10 is going to be just like this. It deserves to be watched multiple times. I feel like I need to watch the episode every single time before I did a live stream twice. Now that I've been rewatching the episodes so many times before, the next one comes out. This past couple of weeks, I've just been rewatching the shit. But all right, the Melee scene was awesome, right? Like I said, my critique is that it wasn't in the books, and I know it was a good episode because halfway through it, I got lost, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck is happening? Rainy's is running. Oh damn, I already cursed. Well, I'm already demonetized. Whatever. That's how it goes. You say one curse word, YouTube's like, nah, dude. Maybe not. Maybe if I only keep that, let me see if I can make that my one curse word for the whole live stream. It's gonna be fucking. It's gonna be insane. I don't think it's gonna happen. Okay, so right, so when she's being bustled through the streets by Eric Cargill, right before they get separated, I'm like, okay, so obviously what's gonna happen is she's going to have to go into the dragon pit and then wait until all the people leave and then get on her dragon, and then there's only 2 doors, right? I know the dragon pit is constructed canonically. It just has to be, because what happens when the dragon pit is destroyed, book analysis is in the thumbnail, and then also like just in general spoiler warning, because I'm about to talk about something that's probably going to happen last season. When the dragon pit's destroyed, the dome collapses upon itself because the dragon is freaked out and has to fly up and tries to get away from all the people that are trying to murder it, right? So there's no other way out other than those doors. And those doors are, well, they're being closed. So I'm thinking like, that's going to be really corny. She's just going to sneak out and like fly her dragon away, right? And then I realized at the end of the episode, no, she's just sort of playing this role to Alicent. It starts to come out after Alicent has her speech like, oh, the king changed his mind last second. The king was like, hey, you know what? 20 years, Aegon is my heir. I just renege on everything, and Aegon is now my heir, right? She's sort of like, oh, like just taken aback, like playing the victim, which is also not canon for Rainey. She's this fucking warrior queen. Oh, there we go again. There's the other F-bomb. Damn. But so I'm thinking like, what's going on? Why are they changing Rhaenys to be this helpless person? She's a dragon rider, right? But she's playing the Game of Thrones. She just wants to make her way to the dragon pit. She's hoping to talk her way out of that situation, which, like I said, not in canon, but it adds for, we got to see Rhaenys burst through the floor. That's the dragon that's the beast under the boards. That's what Helena was talking about. So that was badass. Helena looked regal as hell. When right before Aegon gets crowned, she looked amazing. The actress who plays her, Fee Saban, really beautiful. Go follow her on Instagram. I don't know what her tag is, but I follow her. I look at all her stuff. I like all her posts and stuff. Back on track. I shouldn't have ate all this damn candy before I start. But you know what? If I eat this fruit roll up right here, It'll give me some time to think. And I need a little bit of time to think. So all the people watching me right now, all 230 of y'all, I'm going to give you a shout out. But before I do that, grab a snack. Eat some sugar. Because it's really good. Sugar's awesome. All right. Let's see. Holy shit. Thank you. For the super chat. A super chat from Chelsea. I really wish Rainey's would have said your card. If she had killed, oh man, I hate it when people eat and do podcasts. If she had did that, war's over. No TV show, one season. I wonder if they didn't get the green light, we would have saw a different version where she kills Aegon, and then the Dance of Dragons gets one season. Thank you for the super chat. I'm about to give a shout out to everybody. Holy shit! $20 super chat. So many questions. Was that Nettles talking to the twins? That's immediately what I thought. And I felt racist, but then I'm like, oh, it's not racist. I'm black, dumbass. Is that Nettles? If that is Nettles in the whole Nettles tricks sheep stealer into letting her ride her by giving her food, it's possible. Also, you got to wonder, how does Nettles afford all of the sheep that she gives sheep stealer on Dragonstone? It's assumed that she sells her pussy. Maybe working for Mysaria, she does that. And then also with Daemon, supposedly Daemon teaches her how to bathe and like would brush her hair and stuff. So maybe she's living on the streets. But Nettles has a slit nose. Nettles' nose is slit from being a thief. So maybe that isn't Nettles. It's someone who looks like she could potentially be Nettles. Nettles is a dragon seed. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Thank you for that super chat, Pebbles83. You are a patron of mine. Thank you so much. The second part, Easter egg for future seasons. I hope so. I hope the White Worm fled. She's crucial in later stories. Yeah, did she get burned? Did she get burned up? Also, was that was Larry's boy, one of his tongueless fireflymen that burned the whorehouse that she was in. Damn, so much to unpack this episode. You know, I actually know the director personally. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know the director personally, but Clare Kilner is the one who directed this episode. So all of the amazing shots with Rainey's bursting through the floor saying, hey, here's Maylee's. Maylee's is big as hell. I'm like, how is she going to get through the door? Is she going to break the door on the way out? No, she just tucked her wings in and just flew out. Maylee's is horny. I'm sorry. Maylee's made me horny. No, that's not it. Maylee's was amazing, right? So shots like that, Clare Kilner and like everybody on the team is responsible. And what I do with my Instagram is spam all of the people that are responsible for the show, the actors, the directors, the writers. If George R. Martin had an Instagram, I would be posting his shit all the time. Just go follow them because they're the ones who are really responsible for what the show looks like. Ryan Condal, too, he needs to get on social media. Miguel Sapochnik has a social media, but he's not active on it. I follow him. Thank you for that super chat. Pebbles83. There's another super chat from Breanne Johnson. Some help to combat the F-bombs. Yes. Well, now, I mean, honestly, if it's demonetized already, I can really already say what the hell I want. But y'all know, Breanne, thank you. You're a patron of mine. Same with you, the North Must Remembers. Hell yeah. What was that? Also, hey, Laries, tell me why you wanted your club foot removed in the end, buddy. Tell me. What is that? Dude, why'd you want your... That was crazy. That was insane. That was like, oh, and then Allison does it so much, she just turns to the side and she's like, all right, you're going to do this shit again. Here we go. Like, what the? Damn, that was crazy. Thank you for that, Breanne Johnson. Thank you for that, Northwest. Remember, both of them are patrons. That's one thing. That's the best thing about joining my Patreon is the $1 tier ran out, but I made a new tier for $3, right? But you get access to my Patreon, which gives you the podcast, leaks and lore. Right now, I'm just doing lore stuff because there's no leaks for season 2. But I'm still going to do leaked videos on my YouTube channel. That's just where I can do stuff and just be myself. That's literally what Patreon is. So if you enjoy my content here, go check out my Patreon. There's 7 episodes of that podcast, but there's also like a 23-minute trailer breakdown where I'm like doing a reaction to it. I've been recording myself with the later episodes. So this episode, I recorded myself on my phone. I'm going to try to edit it and upload it there. And that's a live reaction because I've never seen the episode. Oh, excuse me. I got this to get through while I'm recording that. So, you know, thank you for that super chat, Northwest. Remember, Larry's getting off on the right foot. Yeah. Like, dude, what? Yeah. At least he has the courtesy to not show her his ding dong. He keeps that under his robe, and he's just hitting her with one of these. He's hitting her with the Louis C.K. He asked, and he received. She immediately took off her shoes, but then teased him because she didn't take the socks off. You know what I mean? And apparently, a foot fetish is very common. Like, apparently, something about having small feet is attractive. Like, I've never. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. When I've really been into it, I've been like, yeah, let me smell this bitch's feet. With my current girlfriend, I've done it a few times. We've been together for a long time, but I've never been to the point where I'm like, oh, just looking at her feet, we're like, yeah, this is getting me there. Like, nah, but it would make sense. Man's has a mangled foot. Man's like seeing perfect feet. Allison has never had to work a day in her life. She probably has gorgeous feet. She does. I mean, did that turn me into having a foot fetish? No. But, oh, man, that's crazy. Thank you for that super chat. Let me say what's up to everybody in the chat right now. Thank you for that. Was the ending with Rhaenys also in the books? No, it was not. Thank you for that super chat. Wex is the secret Targaryen. Them toes was hella thick, though. They were nice. They were very nice. She has gorgeous feet. $10 super chat. Thank you, Dugsy. So what's Aemond's game exactly? I want to pin this. I'm going to pin this. I want to come back to that because that's going to take me too far down the rabbit hole of not being able to say what's up to everybody in the chat. I want to shout out to everybody that's typing in the chat right now. And I got to go to pull up the YouTube chat for that, not just in the Streamlabs studio. Let me mute myself. Let me pause myself. Please slap a like on this video if you enjoy my stuff. I've been begging people in all of my videos to subscribe and to like, and I still need to do that, but I don't need to do it as much because I think the shadow ban is ending. I mean, I'm at almost 100,000. I'm almost at where I was at before I started losing subs and before my channel was being shadow banned. So I think it's safe to say that's over. Thank you for that super chat, Dugsy. All right, so shout out to everybody who's typing in the chat or watching right now. Please type in the chat so I can give you a shout out. Algie Music. Shout out to Breanne Johnson. What's up, girl? Brett Jones, Brian Williams, Carolina Espinosa, Chef Barcy, Chalisu, Chimera's Flame, Chris Carr, Crystal Mixon, Daniel Pizzini, Dawn Marie, Diana, DJ KLY242, Doug Jenkins, Dugsy, it's jumping. Gaming with Jam. Oh man, dyslexia came up. Georgie, Hunter Hill, Jeanette Sepulveda, JC Daly, Jennifer McCauley, shout out Julia Rouston, Just Kareem, K3G92, what's up, buddy? Kenan 200, Crimson LP, Linda Dawkins, Sluck Jolo, Melanie Wyatt, Michelle Stack, Mohammed El Dawish, Mr. Yuji Vang, Ms. Lady LA, Knuckles, pow! What's up, buddy? Pebbles 83, what's up? Shout out Rafael Luna, Randy Bean, Rob Hardy, Sandra Cummings, Sir Hunt's Review, that's me. Shade, every single time since Game of Thrones season 6, when I see my name when I'm doing these shout outs, I literally say it. You would think I would be like, that's me. Nope. Shay Janina, Snow Walker, Stevenson Sajor, Sip, SYP, Terrence Pounds, The Grooming Experience, The Bio Explorer, what's up, girl? Tyler McAlpine, Ugly Witty, Vivian York, Wex is a secret Targaryen, YNF Mario, and anybody else who's currently typing in the chat that I missed. One PZ, Alex Wolfencroft, Anastasia Ray, Angel Chris, Angel Valise, Aphrodites, Asmondium, Augie Music, Bills, Breanne Johnson, Brian Kaiser, Brandon Reno, Brian Williams. These are all the people that are watching live. So I want everybody seeing this to know these are all the people that came here. And like do we do these on Sundays? Chimera's Flame, Chris Carr, Crystal Mixon, Danielle Pizzini, Darian Thomas, David Gallant, David Salzo, Dawn Marie, Donnie J, D Strong, D La Digital, Dennis Sorensen. What's up, buddy? Diana, Doug Jenkins, Dugsy, Alicia Colehep, Eva Rodriguez. What's up? I think you just joined my Patreon. Sorry if I butcher anybody's name too. Georgie, Hunter Hill, Jeanette Sepulveda, JC Daly, Jedi Master Ghost, Jennifer McCauley, Julia Ralston, Just Kareem K3G92, Kenan 200, Crimson LP, Laura Estrada, what's up, girl? Linda Dawkins, Luck Jolo, Melanie Wyatt, Michelle Stack, Milky Milktastic, Mohammed El Daush, Mr. Yuji Vong, Miss Lady LA Knuckles, Pow, Pebbles 83, Rafael Luna, Rise of Empire, The Omen, DJP Augustus 1684 line ID. That is one username. Rob Hardy, Robert Jenkins, Sandra Cummings, Sir Huntsford, did it again. 7 Miles, Shay Janina, Stevenson, Sajor, Sip, what's up, dude? Tiger Profile Image, what's up? I think you followed me on Twitter. We were talking back and forth in the DMs. Tasha Williams about the TV show. Terrence Pounds, The Grooming Experience, The Bio Explorer, what's up, girl? Tarnette Grayson, The North Must Remember. There you are, buddy. I know you're already in the chat. It just disappeared because you weren't typing. Troy C, Tyler McAlpine, Ugly Witty, Uncover the News, Vivian York, and Wex is a secret Targaryen. I want to give a super special shout out to 3 Dragon Knight members on the patron tier, right? That is The North Must Remember, right? Breanne Johnson, who just joined, and then also Heart of Inspiration, right? Heart of Inspiration and The North Must Remember actually have YouTube channels. So when they're watching this now, type in the chat, people who want to go subscribe to them, please do so. All right, so let's discuss the motherfudging episode. And if you're watching this live, or I'm sorry, if you're watching this afterwards, those are all people that were here and you weren't. So you should feel ashamed of yourself for not turning on those notifications, making sure you're subscribed if you want to, right? If you enjoy my stuff. And then slap a like on this. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, Rhaenys bursting through the floor. Amazing. Amazing. No, it's not in canon. There was a question that was in the what's up with Aemond's in-game. All right, so that whole situation, I'll come back to the Rhaenys thing. What is going on, right? I'm trying to figure out. I believed Sir Otto wanted to get to Aegon first because he was going to sort of, I guess, get rid of him, let him do what he wanted to, right? So he was working with Mysaria to do that. Alicent knew about that, sent Cole and Aemond to go and get Aegon. Aegon then is fighting with Aemond, and Aemond is like telling Kristen Cole before they get to Aegon, they're like, you know, I should be the king. He's like, Aemond's like, I ride the biggest dragon. I'm badass. Look at me. I've got one eye. It's got a sapphire in it, which is amazing. Jesus. That's why smoking cigarettes are bad for you, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't had one in like 30 minutes, and I'm now kicking up the phlegm from it. But yes, so, okay, that's also not in canon necessarily too, but then it kind of actually is. It just, George doesn't directly say that in the books. Like the narrators don't say that because they're not from Aemond's perspective. But when you realize he assumes the role and wears the crown when Aegon is taken out, oh yeah, he does have this ambition. And it makes sense. He does his duty. He does everything he's supposed to. And that's what he's telling Kristen Cole, right? So Kristen Cole is just working for Alicent. It seems like there's something more there because she mentions like, do this for your love for the queen, right? And she kind of says it a certain way that made me think, oh, well, does she let him jerk off to her feet too? Maybe Cole is a belly guy. Maybe he likes looking at her belly. That'd be my thing. I like underboob. Underboob is my shit. I don't know why. You get a really small tits, but if you show me your underboob, I can get off on that. Not the feet though. Not the feet though. That's hilarious. That's kind of weird, dude. I mean, it's not weird. I'm not trying to kink shame anybody, but yeah, under boob is my thing, right? It's tits. Everybody like tits. I mean, it's got to be because he can't walk right. It just makes sense. He's like, oh, dude, these perfect feet. They just, yeah. But like I said, he doesn't have he has the decency to not show her his prick. So he's not full on Louis C.K., but he's kind of like Louis C.K. Louis C.K. is the man. He's hilarious. He's literally my favorite comedian next to Patrice O'Neal, and then obviously Dave Chappelle and your mama. Your mom's hilarious. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no. That's crazy. All right, so Otto is trying to get rid of Aegon, just probably whisk him away, probably kill him. And then still Aemond. Aemond wants that, but he's forced to go with Kristen Cole because Cole is following whatever Alicent says. So they get a hold of Aegon, bring him to his mom. She makes him the king. The whole time he doesn't want it until he's up there and he sees every time I raise my sword, they cheer. Whereas the last time he was in that position with those same people underneath him, he was jerking off on them. So it's a similar thing. It's like, I have power over you minions. I'm going to jerk off on you, right? I thought he was going to stab Alicent or cut her when she gave him the cat's paw dagger. But that was just her way of like laying it home. Like, no, she's convincing everyone that Viserys changed his mind, which is crazy. But then also she sees that it was everybody's plan in the small council because they tell her like, so she's like innocent, but then also she knows she's lying. She doesn't make it that clear. She doesn't say that, yo, Viserys was out of it. The other day, 6 years before this, he called me freaking Emma Aaron, and I look nothing like her. So if she was being 100% honest, and like you would feel, at least I would feel for her more, but she's not being honest. She's just kind of lying. She's like, she just, yeah. He said it. He changed his mind, making it seem like it's clear. So he didn't. He thought she was Rhaenyra, and he was responding to Rhaenyra's question at dinner. Now I'm talking about episode 8 now. So I think Sir Otto was trying to get rid of Aegon, put Aemond as the king. Alicent didn't want to do that. That would be too much for her, right? Even though she knows that that's a good plan. Everybody knows that. Even Aegon himself, they just go with this, right? And we're going to see the king turn into, this frightened weasel, which is like, he hangs out at this place where they sharpen they sharpen fingernails and teeth of children, and they make each other fight themselves, right? He hangs out there a lot, and apparently they're 10 years old, right? But this is Westeros. This is King's Landing. So, like, there's people that are going to watch this right now and be like, oh my God, why is this guy trying to sympathize for the Greens? Because it's my fucking job. It's what we're supposed to do. Every character is gray. So you're trying to figure out why would Larys want to get off on feet? Oh, it's because he's got a mangled foot. Why would Aegon want to watch kids fight? Oh, because, well, okay. Alicent smacked him. That was abuse. Not that much, right? He got the crap kicked out of him by Sir Otto. I mean, I guess that's why he likes watching kids fight. I don't know. It's pretty messed up. Like, obviously, if one of my friends, if this was real life, well, I would call the police because the police would know what to do in that situation. But this is a fantasy TV show. I understand how that world works better than I understand how the real world works. I'm not even going to lie. I spend a lot of time in Planetos, which is not even officially the name of the planet that Westeros is on. But when you look at things, and I also need to rewatch that too, because I need to get a better understanding of what he's doing there. Is he just hanging out there getting drunk? Because like in the books, it sort of says that he's in like a place where he's watching two people fight their children, and he's getting sucked off by someone who's also a child. So were they insinuating is that's what he was doing there? Because if that's what he was doing there, well then fuck that dude. That's not cool. But if he's just like hanging there and he's like watching them fight, because like you see what all of the people in there are doing, right? They're like cheering it on. They're like, yeah, this is Fight Club. Yeah, let's do it, right? Like, is he doing what they're doing, or is he taking it a step further and he's doing like, what I just mentioned, which I'm not going to say again, because if I haven't already been demonetized, mentioning that again probably would do that. But like I said, I need to rewatch that because I know the Cargill twins. Speaking of which, Luke Tittenser and Elliot Tittenser, I think that's how you pronounce their last name, followed me on fucking Instagram, and they told me they were fans of my stuff, and they smoke weed. So that's, well, I don't know. I don't know if they do. I'm just saying. I don't even do that. CBD is legal here in the United States, though. So I will say that. This is what this is. CBD break. Help me focus. Some Delta 9 CBD. 100% legal in my state. But yeah, no, they follow me on Instagram. Go follow them. I posted them in my story, I think. I think the story's still up. That might have relaxed me a little bit too much. I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. So the Cargo brothers are saying, like, this is who this guy is, right? So Eric is telling Arik, okay, so Eric is the one for the Blacks, and he's played by Elliot Tittensor. And Arik is played by Luke Tittensor. Luke's my son name, so that's cool. And he's going to be for the Greens. So they have that conversation, and that's, all part of the scenes that I need to rewatch. But from my understanding, they made it seem like he hangs out there. I don't know if they took it to the level of like him. And I'm sure there's probably somebody in the chat who's saying something, but I'd switch screens so that I can't actually see the chat right now, so that my ADD doesn't go full on. What are these people saying over here? I'm going to bring that back up in a second, but I need to rewatch that. And before I could give a 100%, analyses of it, I need another watch of that, particularly that scene. I'll probably watch the episode like one more time before I go to bed tonight, and then again in the morning before I start working on the video. And the video should be up by Tuesday at the latest. Last time I said that, I got it up like I think Monday night, so hopefully that's how it goes. Yeah, I mean, one thing that this does do is, since they made it so that Alicent isn't in on this plot to instill her son as king, even though Otto told her before he left the first time, before he got removed and Lionel Strong replaced him as hand of the king, he told her, "You must prepare Aegon to rule or cleave to Rhaenyra and beg for her mercy." That's like one of my favorite scenes, right? He tells her that. So she kind of is in on the plot. So it's almost like, I don't know. How big of a jerk off do you think Larry's had to do on Alicent's feet for killing his brother and his father? Like, they just skipped over that. That was when she was younger, too. Let me know in the chat. I'll read the chat after this. Might have taken it too far on that one. But yeah, like, I'm curious if Mysaria is really dead. That was one of the things that was mentioned, because she plays a role in Blood and Cheese, which is something that will definitely be happening in season 2. We know for a fact it's going to happen in season 2. This was Olivia Cook's last episode. She's not going to be in the next episode. We know that from the teaser. Until next season, obviously. We got several shots in that teaser trailer. I don't want to start talking about the teaser trailer because I could kind of react to that live here towards the end of this live stream. But we did get to see shots of the storms and battles happening. We see Erex and Luke trying to get the fuck out of there, trying to get the heck out of Dodge, baby. Let me just go to my notes. I'm trying to freelance this. I got notes right here, baby. All right, let's do this. 25 notes. All right, so episode starts with similar shots to season 7. See, I'm glad I looked at my notes, because in season 7, in the last few minutes of episode 10, season 7 only got 7 episodes. Season 8 got 6 episodes. So season 7, episode 7, when Jaime departs to go north to go and help Jon Snow in Winterfell, he pulls a glove over his hand and snowflakes are falling. And then after that, there are shots of the map room in the Red Keep, where him and Cersei have the conversation at the beginning of season 7. There are shots of the battlements in King's Landing. It basically just signifies, hey, winter is coming, right? When those shots are happening of like empty, desolate, like people are with that, that's what the beginning of this episode reminded me of. Then we have the kid who basically tells Mysaria's informant, like, look, the king's dead. And then she goes and tells Alicent, and then she burns a candle in a window. And I'm assuming that was to inform Mysaria, right? And then we have basically Alicent and Sir Otto usurping the throne. And this conversation is just filled, rife with lines from the books. It was amazing. The Green Council basically, Cole smashes. And you know what's crazy and maybe this just shows how psychotic I am. The whole time, every time they show those balls that they use to speak, or like when they say their piece at the small council, these are like the little balls, and each one's like designed differently for each person who holds it. Like we saw the Lannister one had a lot of gold in it, right? When they do that, every time they move it, I'm like, man, that would really hurt. If you threw that at somebody's face or at their body, it would break their bones like immediately. And in the Song of Ice and Fire books, there's these warriors known as the slingers, and they can sling small lead balls way faster than any crossbow or anything can shoot an arrow. It's basically like George's versions of having like gunshots, but they're technically not. They use slingshots to sling, but they're not slingshots. They do these weird flips, and it powers up the small lead ball, and it just destroys shit when it like a bullet does when you shoot it with a gun. So that made me think of like how heavy are those things? Would they do some damage? And we saw Cole answered that question. He smashed Lyman Beesbury's face into that. And then we also have, Alicent being unaware of the long running plan to instill Aegon, which as soon as she said that, I immediately was like, hold up, hang on, Alicent. You want us to believe that you didn't know there was a plan to do this when literally the last thing Sir Otto said to you when you was a little girl, when you was a little baby, he said, cleave to Rhaenyra. Like he told you, we're going to prepare Aegon to rule, right? And then we have Westerling taking off his cloak, which is really interesting because I thought for sure he would have a showdown with Cole. But like many things in life, not so much in my videos because I'm an expert. I'm just kidding. Like in many things, I was wrong. I was like, dude, Harold Westerling's going to die to Cole. And he would have if they had that showdown, but they didn't. And it is Harold Westerling at the small council, the Black Council meeting with Rhaenyra when she finds out. It looks as though Rhaenys tells her your father's dead. The Greens are coming for you, but she probably, no, Rhaenys would get there on Melee's before Eric Cargill, excuse me. And then we have, Westerling retiring. He's going to make his way to the Blacks. And then we have Helena. She's spending time with the kids, netting a spider. I love her. She's so cool. Basically, where's Aegon? Straight from the books. Alicent burst in the door. Where's Aegon? The only thing Helena was supposed to say, well, certainly he's not in my bed. You can check under the sheets if you'd like. That would have been too much. And she was already standing up, right? But amazing. I can't wait. No, I can totally wait for Blood and Cheese, but she's going to murder it in that scene. It's going to be crazy. If you're unaware what Blood and Cheese is basically after what's about to happen in the next episode when Lucerys dies, when Vhagar and Aemond kill Lucerys, right? Daemon sends a letter to the Blacks. He sends a letter to Rhaenyra and he says, I'm talking about this slow, so if you don't want to know about it, you have the time to click away. But I'm going to stop talking about spoilers because it's something that happened in the books. It's not a spoiler. That could be different from the TV show, right? So Daemon sends that letter. And he says, an eye for an eye, a son for a son. Daemon, via Mysaria, which is why I was wondering if Mysaria died, hires a rat catcher named Cheese and a former Gold Cloak member named Blood, who was removed from the Gold Cloaks, which is that City Watch crew that Daemon started. He was this dude Blood that gets hired, right, by Mysaria via Daemon, right, to go and commit an atrocity. He got removed from the Gold Cloaks because he killed a he would rape women, and he just was a bad dude. So he wasn't good enough to be on the Gold Cloaks. So this guy, ex-Gold Cloak Blood, goes with this dude Cheese, and you're like, why is he going with Cheese? Well, Cheese being a rat catcher, he knows those tunnels that Daemon and Rhaenyra used to sneak out. Cheese is responsible to get rid of all of the rats inside the Red Keep, so he knows those tunnels that were built by Maegor, right? So, and then when Maegor had those tunnels constructed inside the Red Keep for a fast escape, he didn't want anybody to know about them, so he had all the people that built the tunnels killed. But what's funny is that literally everybody knows about these characters. Everybody who's somebody knows about these tunnels. So if you don't know about these tunnels, you ain't shit in the Song of Ice and Fire books. But all the most interesting characters, Varys, Illyrio, Arya, now, she knows about them, Tyrion, right? They know about these tunnels. So anyway, Blood and Cheese use those tunnels to sneak into Helena's room. She's there with her kids. She's there with Jaehaerys and Jaehaera. That's who we saw in this episode. I don't know if Maelor is around, but looks like they're going to... No, Maelor has to be around because Maelor's death is tragic. What if they gave Maelor's death to DAERON and DAERON is wounded and has to escape from that battle? No, because what DAERON does is... What he does to Bitterbridge, the harshness of what he does there with his dragon to Sarion is because of what happened to Maelor. Anyway, Blood and Cheese are like, hey, yo, bitch, Helena, you got some chill in there. We're here to kill one of them. Not all of them, but one of them. So in the books, there's Jaehaera, Jaehaerys, and then Maelor. Maelor is the youngest. Jaehaera and Jaehaerys are twins, so they're the same age. But Helena goes... So they make her pick. They're like, which kid do you want us to kill? Which is crazy, right? She's like, let me pick the youngest one because he may not actually know what the hell is happening. It's really messed up, right? So then they're like, oh yeah, you hear that, boy? Your mama wants you dead. And then they, bam, chop off the head of Jaehaerys, the king's heir, in one fell swipe. Blood does this, right? And then... strict to their word, they do no other damage and then escape. And this is what everybody's talking about. When you see Blood and Cheese, when you see people referencing it, that's what happens. And it's in response to Lucerys being killed at Storm's End when he's sent as an envoy. We see him in the trailer being like, him and Jace are like, yes, mom, send us. And Lucerys is sent on the mission to Storm's End because it's supposed to be the safer option, because Rhaenys is a Baratheon on her mother's side. So, because of this, Storm's End should want to, bend the knee and join Rhaenyra's side. But that's not the case. Rhaenyra slighted them on the TV show. In the books, Boros just blows like the wind. So he's in an unpredictable mood, and Aemond got there first. But it makes more sense on the TV show because when Rhaenyra was there, she was very insulting to Boros' father, Boromon. She kept saying, like, is there any next? And he said to her, he goes, wait a second, princess. These people came here. These are high lords. And she's like, next. I want to go eat my dinner. And then, Bracken Blackwood, sort of foreshadowing what's about to happen to her son, dies. And then she still leaves. She goes away. She's like, look, I don't have time for that. I got a boat waiting for me. I got other potential soup tours to go see. I'm out of here. So this is why they are very cold to Lucerys. They're like, look, dude, your mama was a C-U-N-T. So which one of my daughters are you going to marry? Right? That's the whole thing. So when Lucerys gets the Storm's End, they're like, dude, Boros is like, dude, Boros is like, dude, Lucerys, I got 4 daughters. They're known as the 4 Storms. They're pretty mouthy. Boros would say something like that because he's very misogynistic. But he's like, pick one. Who you gonna marry? Obviously, Lucerys just got promised to Rhaena. What the fuck, dude? Why am I still coughing? This is crazy. I barely hit that fucking thing. Smoke like a pack of cigarettes a day. Jesus Christ, that's why. All right, so what the fuck? Okay, it's like every time I try to talk, it makes it worse. Lucerys, Sir Huss is being silly, boy. All right. Please stop coughing lungs, you bitch ass niggas. Come on. This is ridiculous. I think it's the sugar, because the sugar builds like this phlegm in my throat, and I cough a lot because of all the cigarettes, and I get excited when I talk about this show. All right. Lucerys is literally like, dude, I can't pick one of your daughters right now. I'm betrothed to my cousin Rhaena. Boros is like, all right, sorry, can't help you. So then obviously Lucerys, he's being egged on by Aemond the whole time. Aemond's like, give me an eye, hold strong. I'm not going to let you leave till you cut out one of your eyes. Just one of them. I wouldn't leave you blind. Obviously Lucerys is like, I'm an envoy. I'm not going to fight you. And then Boros is like, dude, not in my house. He Dikembe Matumbos the entire situation. He's like, this is not happening under my roof, right? So obviously Lucerys excuses himself and is forced to leave. And then this next part that I'm about to say, I hope they keep it in because it would be really cool. Aemond initially isn't going to go after Lucerys and Aerex, right? Aerex is Lucerys' dragon. What makes him go after Lucerys and Aerex is that he's egged on by Florys Baratheon, one of the four storms, one of Boros' daughters, and she's like, I'm glad you picked my sister, because remember, Aemond, the reason why he's able to get storms in on the side of the Greens is because he agrees to marry one of Boros' daughter, and he gets there before Lucerys. So the daughter that he didn't pick, Florys, right? I believe it's Florys, Baratheon. She says, I'm glad you picked my sister because I want a man with all of his parts. And then that sort of pushes him over the edge, kind of like exactly what happens with Daemon. Remember with Daemon when he leaves Rhea Royce alive and he walks away, and technically, like, yeah, the horse got spooked because Daemon smells like a dragon, but he didn't really cause that situation. She was being really cocky and her horse bucked, right? It was when his wife Rhea reached for the bow to dash Daemon in the face. That's when her horse bucked. And then remember, Daemon was going to walk away, but then she kept running her mouth. I sound crazy saying that, but she egged him on, and then Daemon came back and did the deed, right? So that's probably a similar thing. Like when Florys Baratheon says this to Aemond, Aemond's going to be like, all right. And then he goes out. Vhagar's massive, so Vhagar's slow. Aerex on Lucerys, much smaller, much faster. If there was not a storm, if this wasn't at Storm's End, these storms at Storm End and on Shipbreaker Bay, it's like there's this storm god who battled the House Sternden for years. And then like Storm's End supposedly has been rebuilt multiple times to be able to withstand the strongest storms like hurricanes and shit. So because of that, the area is very volatile, and Aerex and Lucerys are not able to fly away as quickly as they normally would have been able to. And Vhagar, because of this, is able to catch up. Vhagar and Aemond kills Lucerys and Aerex. And one version of the tale is Lucerys survives and he becomes a fisherman, and he lives like he loses all memory of who he was. Obviously, his dragon dies, but he lives out the rest of his days as a simple fisherman. That's probably not what's going to happen. The version the show may go for is because Aemond was egged on by Florys, he takes it one step further, and after his dragon kills Lucerys and Aerex, he actually Aemond cuts Lucerys' head off and then brings it back and serves it to Florys on a bed of kelp. And then he goes, "Are these balls big enough for you, baby?" He doesn't say that last part, but this show is probably going to do that. So I'm not going to hit that 100% Delta 8 CBD legal vape pen, but it is time for another dessert. Rice Krispie treat, home style. See that right there. They are not sponsored. This is not a sponsored dessert and delicacy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not about to eat that. Let's hop in the chat. So Aemond's game exactly. Thank you for the super chat. I believe I had looked at this before. I'm way back in the chat. Now that I've kind of gotten some of my thoughts together, he just kind of knows that he's not. None of the Greens are the rightful heir. Rhaenyra's the rightful heir, but he's kind of the man for the job. Like, he's the best fighter. He rides the biggest dragon. He's got a really cool eye patch. He does his duty. He's less perverted than his brother. He doesn't drink really at all. He admires Cole, which isn't necessarily a good thing, but Cole's not the worst role model. So like Aemond knows that he should be king, but by all laws, he's the second son, so that's just not gonna happen. His in game, I mean, it does end up happening, but I just mean his mentality for right now and why he is the way he is. His game, I guess, not his in game, but his game exactly is just to like his plan was to, I guess, go along with what Sir Otto wanted, which was to sort of get rid of Aegon and instill himself. Him and Helena they'd be pretty amazing rulers. Like Aemond kind of becomes more and more corrupted throughout the dance, but ultimately he'd be a pretty decent king. If you think Daemon would be a good king, well, then you think Aemond would be a good king as well. Pretty sure Daemon is singing to Vermithor in the promo. What the fuck? Why is he doing that? Really? I need to rewatch that promo. Really? Why is he singing to Vermithor? So Vermithor is the old king's mount. The old king Jaehaerys. Vermithor is ridden by Wolf the White or Hugh the Hammer. One of those two. But why would Daemon be singing to him? That's weird. Let me come back to that. I don't trust people with foot fetishes. Me neither. Thank you for that, Brianna. No message. Appreciate that super chat. Hey, Brian. How y'all doing? Good morrow. Good morrow to you. Just finished. Welcome. That's a 30-minute old message. Sorry about that. Rise of the Empire, the Omen DJP, Augustus 1684 line ID says, good episode. Next episode, they will pay off the kids fighting. Just hope they have enough time to do it right. As a huge fan of GOT and Dexter returns, these last episodes scare me the most. I haven't seen the new season of Dexter, but I understand that season 8 Game of Thrones sentiment. Hey, what's up, Milky Tastic? Oh shit, new team member. What's up? Welcome, Tangy 121. Victoria de Leon Castillo. Dragon emoji. That's what's up. Laura Estrada, what's up? She says, what's up? I decided I'm going to be Alicent for Halloween with Day of the Dead makeup. My hair is long and red and it's totally unique. Nice. Thanks for sharing that with us. Everybody in the chat, what's your Halloween costume idea based on the show? My son's kind of little. I don't know if we're going to take him trick-or-treating like we said we would, but he doesn't really eat candy, and it's like we'll probably just let him walk up and down the street because this is our street's kind of where all the kids go trick-or-treating at. Like we ran out of candy last year. So but what's your House of the Dragon inspired costumes? I have actually never, believe it or not, never had sex on Halloween. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I was going to say I've rarely done a Game of Thrones themed costume, but now that I've read the books, I kind of have like a million ideas in one, and it would be hard to put a nickel on the head, so to speak. Wait, that's not the phrase. It would just be hard to narrow down and pick one. I like the Alicent with Day of the Dead makeup. You could always pick a character and then do like a zombie version theme of that. I would, from the new show, I would do something with Vaemond because his death is pretty iconic. Where, like, you know how you can put your, like this kind of thing and then just do like a, where it's just the tongue sticking out? I'm Vaemond Velaryon. That's a good one. I just thought of that right now, right? Focus camera. That's a good one, right? What do y'all think? Vaemond Velaryon. My tongue stick out like this. I could have my girlfriend dressed up as Daemon behind me with a sword or something. That'd be too much, but yeah. That's the analysis I need. I think that was the foot, probably in the foot thing I was saying. I was talking about the foot for like 20 minutes. Oh, uncover the news. Thank you for that. Do you think Breanne is watching through the Weirwood network? Maybe helping Samwell? The red keep Weirwood was bleeding in one episode. Well, I think it's every time we see it, it has tears of blood coming down its eyes. The most quintessential things that have happened there in front of the Weirwood tree, calling off of memory, One, the conversations between Alicent and Rhaenyra, and then also Rhaenyra and Daemon. That's kind of interesting. Like Daemon specifically kind of just like looks up, and then the light hitting the weirwood trees, hitting Daemon's face, makes him sort of relish. It's like he's finally relaxing. This is an episode, King of the Narrow Seas, when he comes back from the Stepstones after he conquers it. So episode 4, right? That's so terrible that I can't remember which episode it is. That damn vape pen. But anyway, when he comes back, that scene, it's kind of quintessential, I think, in my opinion, because he looks up, the light reflecting through the weirwood trees. It's just like one of those weird moments that I feel like when the series completes, we're going to go back. When I go back and rewatch it, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, this means this, and here's why. So that was one interesting thing that's happened. And then like I said, that's tied in to all the conversations between Daemon and Rhaenyra, and then also Alicent and Rhaenyra, right? And then the other thing is when Samwell, his name is Samwell for the TV show, people were saying he could be Mushroom because Rhaenyra is kind of being mean to him by making him play over and over again. And then I thought he could be Mushroom because someone sent me a leak over on Twitter. Speaking of which, make sure you go follow me at @Sir_Hunts. But someone told me the dude Johnny Weldon was going to be Mushroom. He's like 5 feet tall. He's really funny. He sings a lot. He does a million impressions. I thought he was going to be Mushroom, but he sings this song to Rhaenyra on his lyre, lute, mandolin, something. He plays the song called Under the Dragon's Eye. Under the Dragon's Eye. That song. The only person who would be a dragon in the Weirwood net is Bloodraven. Bloodraven is half Blackwood, half Targaryen. Bloodraven is the show's version is the three-eyed raven, right? The three-eyed crow in the books, Bloodraven in the books, one of the bastards of Aegon the Unworthy, Aegon the Fourth, the next Aegon after Aegon the Third sits the throne at the end of this. He is the grandson, right? Anyway, Daemon is his great grandfather, I guess, to Bloodraven. Couple generations. Yeah. Eventually, Bloodraven comes from the line of Aegon. Anyway, not Aegon II. Daemon's son, Aegon III. Daemon and Rhaenyra's son, who sits the throne at the end of this. But the significance is there because he's watching everything. He even says that in the TV show. He's like, I'm watching all this. So when you're in a weirwood net, weirwood trees are thousands of years old. So time is not linear. It doesn't go in a straight line forward or back. It's a ripple in a lake. So it's easy for a weirwood tree to recover memories from thousands of years ago, from 2 days ago, from the future. It's easy for weirwood trees to store those memories in someone who's adept in being a green seer and being basically Bloodraven for the TV show, to simplify it, would be able to see everything that's happening right now. And there's been a couple of people who have asked me, who do I think is the king that cuts down the tree? If they show it on the TV show, Baelor the Blessed, easily. Baelor, even though he's a Targaryen, and the Targaryens, there's people that debate this, but the Targaryens themselves and the Valyrians themselves, not the Velaryons, the Valyrians didn't have a religion. There was many religions that were practiced in the Valyrian freehold, but the Valyrians themselves, the ones that rode dragons anyway, did not have a religion. They named their dragons and themselves after Valyrian gods. But there's so many different gods from many different religions. You just kind of assume that if the names sound similar, that they're from the same religion. But there are Valyrians who did have a religion, like for instance, the Driftwood throne was given to House Velaryon from a deal that was struck with the Merlin King. The Merlin King is part of a religion that I think even influences the Andals, because House Manderly, before they were evicted from the south and sent up north to the Wolf's Den, they worship the Merlin King. And then also supposedly the not only the Driftwood throne was given to House Velaryon after a deal that was struck between House Velaryon and the Merlin King. Also, he gave the Iron Islands the Driftwood throne, the Driftwood crown was given to them from the Merlin King. So you would assume the Merlin King is probably this prophetic fellow from the Age of Heroes. House Velaryon possibly was over in Westeros during the Age of Heroes. What the hell am I even talking about them for? It'll take me a while to get back to that. Yeah, the Red Keep Weirwood tree is bleeding. Hopefully I answered your question. I know I answered your question. I just went on a crazy tangent talking about religion. But yeah, the Valyrians didn't have a religion. Thank you for that super chat. Uncover the news. We got one from Cheryl Lindsay. Thank you for that super chat. She says, I joined. Thank you for all you do. Join Patreon today. That's awesome. Thank you for joining my Patreon. That's awesome. Thank you for the super chat as well. Kevin James Poss says, a Joe Mama joke throwback. Hell yeah, buddy. Rest in peace, Patrice O'Neill. Should have took Carlos Mencia. God should have took Carlos Mencia. Is that what you're gonna say? It is really sad Patrice died. I listened to the last clip that he did with Opie and Anthony, like his last appearance that he did. So I think it was after no, it was before the stroke that he had that like made him that killed him ultimately. It was before that, and you could just tell that he was really flustered and really pissed off, like he was at one of the heaviest he'd ever been, and he just seemed really irritated, more irritated than he was for Patrice. But that last time he was on there, he was talking about how he's eating at all of these different raw cafe places, which is like, this was 2011 or so. This was before the vegan thing kind of took off. It was right when it was started. But anyway, he was talking about how he was getting healthy, which adds an extra layer of fucked upness to it, because he's like, that's what ultimately killed him, his size. He's like, yeah, I'm trying all this raw food and I'm eating at all these places. And, Patrice is Patrice. So when he's talking about the food that they serve there, he's just being hilarious. You know what I mean? Like, these motherfuckers got me eating, you know what I mean? Like lettuce wraps or some shit. It was just really funny. But that was one of his last appearances on Opening. I don't know. But the dagger is the only keepsake. Let me not pick random comments out of the chat. All right. Rafael Luna, what's up, dude? Allison said, as a patron of mine, he says, Allison needed something for the guilt, so she believed that she wanted what she wanted when it came to Viserys' wishes. Exactly. She used that as an scapegoat. So she conveniently, and memory is a fickle thing, because literally you forget the instance as soon as it happens. And every time you remember something, you're recalling your last memory of that event. Unless you have a photographic memory like myself, you are an average human and you have to... I'm just kidding. But memory is very fickle. So yes, I agree with that, Rafael. Like, she's literally made it as convenient as possible for herself to sort of believe the lie. Do you think Breanne has a leg fetish? I'm not answering that. Here's one for you, Sandra Cummings. Do you think Breanne had ramps put into Westeros? Because he does have a handy dandy wheelchair. Sir Hunt W. What's that for? Thank you. Laura Strata says, Rob Hardy, I hope not, because he really will be a dirty rat. Okay, so what did Rob say? There I go, picking up the random comments from the chat, not knowing what's going on. I'm all up in the conversation and don't even know the flavor of the Kool-Aid. Sandra Cummings, I've seen the best memes about when Corlys comes home. Wait, is that leaks? Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't know what happens in the next episode. Greatest coronation ever. Yes, John Haymaker. He literally, let me reenact. Just imagine I look exactly like Draco Malfoy, all right? Just imagine this is not Longclaw, all right? But instead, this is Walmart Long Cleasy, right? $5. But just imagine this is Blackfire. He's like, I don't really want this thing. I have the power. He like does it once, and he's like, "Oh, holy shit, this thing is." Then he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And then he sort of looks around at everybody around him, and he's like, "Holy, you guys have to respect me. I am wearing this throne, and you must respect. I'm wearing the throne. Pretty much, I'm wearing the crown, and I'm rocking the throne. So you have to respect me, and that's ultimately what's going to turn him into even more of a monster." Super chat from Tracy Summers. Join my Patreon. Thank you. Thank you for that super chat. She says, "Love your breakdowns. Aegon was kicking, and all the way to be crowned. The crowd and court were given applause. We now have the Monster King. He now has control. He does. All hail King Aegon! King Aegon, second of his name, King of Westeros." Won't be saying that when he starts doing all this stuff. Let me calm down. Thank you for that super chat, Tracy. Aemond Blade. Aemond. Where's my mind at? Ice Blade Film says, "Aemond, the king who never was." Oh no! Don't get it twisted. Aemond will be rocking that crown. He is very much everything king, but in name. He doesn't like when Aegon gets injured in the battle with Meleys and Rook's Rest. And Vhagar, basically Vhagar's a butthole and slams into Meleys and Sunfire and causes Sunfire to be like ground ridden. So Sunfire has to heal from the battle, but Aegon is so crazily burned. Like Aegon has flesh melted to his skin, and he's like so crippled and stuff. For a whole year, Aemond wears the crown, right? Is basically running the entirety of the show, making all the war plans. He does everything but name himself King Aemond. So he does. He's going to be the king who is, but he doesn't like give himself the title King Aemond. He just names himself Lord Protector or whatever. So that's coming. But yeah, I really want to rewatch the episode because I feel like I haven't been doing much breaking down this live stream. It's weird that Alicent lets Larrys do that all this time, and she thinks she's so freaking pure. Ugh, that's worse than, yeah. You try to get me demonetized there, H? Exclamation point, parentheses, money 3 at. Trying to make out what that says, but yeah, you trying to get me? No, yeah, I don't know if that's worse than having sex with him, because that would probably be, if that had happened, a lot of people would probably lost more. Like with the feet thing, that's him. She needs the information. That's all Larry's. He's a weird dude because he, you know what, there will probably be backlash, silly mind you, but there will probably be backlash from like the clubfoot community of people who have clubfoot, right? Even though I think that it's pretty rare. It used to be a lot more common. I think it's kind of cured. I don't know anything about that, but I think that would be the only backlash, is that they would be like, "Oh, what are you saying? All people with leg disabilities have foot fetishes? All people with..." That would be the only thing. But also, it's like, it's a TV show. It's like that he does have a thing for feet in the books, because like he has it removed from him. Like he willingly accepts death from all of his treachery, but he's like, "Can you please cut off this club foot so that I can be removed from it?" So Ryan Condal, the showrunner, took that to a 10, which is what they do with the TV show. And he's like, "Oh, no. He doesn't just dislike his club foot. He admires perfect feet," which, like I said, kind of makes sense because it falls into the foot fetish kind of thing. Maybe Ryan Condal has a foot fetish. I don't know. I'm just kidding. The pointed teeth remind me of the guy Arya free jacking. So Biter, he doesn't really have a role at all on the TV show. It's like, yeah, she lets him out, and like, yeah, he's got the sharpened teeth, but ultimately he's supposed to fight Breanne. In the fight that he has, that Biter, who Dawn Marie is talking about, who has the fight that he has with Breanne is intense, but Biter reminding you of those kids is interesting. Biter is probably like mixed with a few different primordial races in A Song of Ice and Fire. So there's like a race of people known as the Squishers who have rows of pointed teeth. Biter has like really sharp, weird features that kind of, he doesn't look like everybody else. He's thick, burly, but he's also like got the pointed teeth, and he sort of eats Breanne in their fight. So he could be one of like, he could be descended from the Squishers. Like supposedly the Ironborn are supposed to be more, fish like. They don't have actual gills, right? But so yeah, I mean, that's who that reminded me of. When you said this, the pointed teeth reminded me of, but that's who Biter reminds me of. But yeah, I need to rewatch that scene because I don't really know what Aegon's doing there. Is he just hanging out there getting drunk? Dawn Marie brings up, I just kind of answered that. No. Biter is probably like part Squisher and part hairy man of Ib. So the hairy men of Ib, and there's women too, are kind of like the Song of Ice and Fire version of dwarves. So they're sort of shorter than normal men, but they're really hairy, really burly, and they kind of make their own way. They have these giant Ibonese whaling vessels that are like impenetrable. They take work all over the world, so you can kind of see them, not just at the port of Ibn, but like their women supposedly are bearded, and also the women can't mate with men. The offspring of such are they're like some sort of weird misshapen creature, right? But the men can mate with other human women, and I think that's what Biter is. Biter is a mix of the Ibonese men with like a Squisher folk, who we kind of hear about from this dude that's giving Breanne a tour, right? So I don't think that this fighting ring that Mysaria was against, that Aegon was with, right? That Aegon, I guess they're sort of hinting at, has a lot to do with. I don't think that Biter descended from them. I think Biter is Ibonese and the Squisher, just like race, a mix of different types of races that makes him have those characteristics, like the sharp and pointy teeth. I think this was just like it could just be like a familiar reference that Condor or whoever wrote this episode. I know the writer Sara Hess, the director is Clare Kilner, but there's a team of writers also. So even though Sara Hess is given the credit for writing this episode, she's gotten a team of writers working with her, the main one being Ryan Condal. So I'm assuming with him being, the native A Song of Ice and Fire expert, and then also Ty McKell, who works as an assistant for George, is like the consulting expert for like lore and stuff. Pretty sure it was a combination of all of them. They just wanted to sort of throw that in there as like a visual reference thing. But Biter doesn't even, like, Arya lets him out, and that's all you hear about him on the TV show. In the books, Biter, like I was just saying, Biter sort of eats Breanne in their fight. So Breanne is making her way to go and try to save Sansa in the Riverlands, and she ends up running into Gendry, and she sees this girl that Gendry's with, and she's like, I'm looking for Sansa, but this little girl, remember, it's Brienne's POV, so we're getting Brienne's thoughts, but she sees this girl that's with Gendry. Gendry reminds her of Renly, so she's like, okay, well, this kid is obviously Robert Baratheon's son. She thinks it's Gendry multiple times, but anyway, she goes to this inn, and she thinks the girl is Arya, but anyway, they're kind of caught off guard, and these people show up, Biter, and the group of brave companions, which is basically this mummers group. They're the group of individuals who take Jaime's hand. In the TV show, they made this dude Vargo Hoat. I don't even know why they didn't even, I was going to say they made him Locke, but Locke is not Vargo Hoat. Like, Vargo Hoat is the GOAT, man. He's like this fucking weird dude. He's got this really long beard, and he talks like this in the books, in the audiobooks anyway. But I don't think, just to summarize my thoughts there, because I'm going on way too side of a tangent. basically when Breanne is, I'll finish telling that part about Breanne. So when Breanne is in the encampment with Gendry and these dudes show up, initially Gendry thinks it's the Brotherhood without banners, because when Gendry and Arya depart, when Arya leaves Hot Pie and Gendry, Hot Pie makes Gendry becomes a blacksmith for the Brotherhood without banners, because he realizes that's the one place where he could do some good at. So he stays and he's at this inn, and then, Breanne makes her way there. And when she gets there, she's talking with these kids. She realizes she's with this dude, Heil Hunt, who may or may not try to steal Sansa if they eventually find her, right? So Gendry ends up calling for the Brotherhood without banners because he doesn't trust anybody. He doesn't trust Breanne, specifically because Breanne has got Lannister garb on. So he goes outside and he's waiting for the Brotherhood to show up, but then Breanne realizes these aren't the Brotherhood without banners who you think they are, which is this group of individuals, mainly Beric Dondarrion, who was given charge of going to go and arrest Gregor Clegane when Ned Stark was still hand to the king. So the Brotherhood without banners is helping Gendry. Gendry sends word for them because the way they get away from the Lannister soldiers is by dividing and conquering. They're split up all over the Riverlands, and the small folk are helping the Brotherhood without banners. So Gendry and Breanne are outside. It's raining. Biter shows up. Not the Brotherhood without banners, the brave companions, the guys who took Jaime's hand. They were hired by Tywin Lannister to basically wreak havoc on Robb Stark's men, and they're a group of individuals from all over the world. And there's a Dothraki who has a Valyrian steel Arak with him. There's the Vargo Hoat dude with the really long beard and the lisp. And then there's also Biter. Biter is initially, a lot of people think he's a faceless man, but he's initially with Jack and Hagar in the back of the cabin, right? With Rorge. And basically Biter ends up attacking Breanne. There's this crazy fight. Breanne beats the crap out of him, but eventually he gets on top of her and starts eating her face. And that was all in relation to this comment. So thank you for that super chat, Northwestern member. And I think I answered Don Marie's question. Then we got a super sticker from Cat Shepherd. Fire and Bud. Suck it, Helena. What? You better watch your mouth. David versus Goliath. What's that? Huh. Got a negative Nancy here. Thomas Lipolis says, original Game of Thrones never looked corny. Why are they trying to do things bigger than they can afford? So you're talking about CGI looking bad at the Dragon Pit scene where Rhaenys bust through the floor, the beast under the boards? What are you talking about? It looked amazing. You know what I think? I think you may have watched it on something with the brightness turned a little bit too up. Now, here's the thing. I was watching it on my monitor, and I've said this before. My monitor is set in gaming mode, and I fucked with all the settings to make it as bright as possible so that I can enjoy my video games. When I watch TV shows, I don't change the settings because I would have to change them back whenever I play games. Mind you, I haven't logged on to GTA 5 in like a year and a half. So I'm probably never going to play video games again until GTA 6 comes out or until they make a Game of Thrones video game, because I was going to buy Elden Ring, but then I saw that it was like $60 and I was like, that's fucking insane. Who the hell's going to, or not 60, it was like more than that or something. I don't know. Anyway, I don't have time for games right now. I have children. That's the main reason why I stopped playing games. But maybe the screen you watched it on was too bright. And when the brightness is really high in the dragon CGI scenes, it looks worse because the dragon CGI in the Game of Thrones show, they would intentionally have it in a darker scene because CGI looks better when there's less light showing directly on the actual, CGI animation of the creature. So maybe that's what happened, but I watched it on my phone. My phone screen is amazing. I thought it looked really good. Thank you for sharing your comment, though. Chat, do you guys agree? Do you agree that it looked kind of corny? I would say that the idea that I disagree with you looking corny. I thought it looked really good, right? But I do agree with the sentiment is that if they couldn't have afforded to make the scene look as good as possible, then why do it? That was your sentiment. So that I could see if you didn't like the scene, why you would say that for sure. Damn, we got a super chat from Dennis Sorensen. Damn, buddy. It was for $20. Where did it go? It disappeared. Oh no, there it is. Sir Hunts. Thank you for that super chat, man. Says Sir Hunts, fire and blood, fire and blood. Gotta work. Have a great night. All right, man. Well, damn. Have a good night. I see you don't want to watch my black ass on the screen no more. All right, man. All right, I got you, man. No, I'm just kidding. Have a good one, Dennis. Dennis is the man. Have a good night, buddy. Thank you for that super chat. Showing Tampa says just finished Meili's amazing, right? Like, not in canon. Rhaenys is on Driftmark when Viserys dies and Rhaenyra finds out, right? But amazing, because that showdown wouldn't have happened. The stare down that Meili's and Rhaenys has with, Aegon and Helena's not there because God save Helena, God save the queen, right? Alicent told the Kingsguard to get Helena the hell away, but right, we wouldn't have had that stare down. And I think that's going to come back to when Alicent has an opportunity to show some sort of mercy. Even though Rhaenys is going to die in the Battle of Rook's Rest, it's kind of no telling what they could do. As long as she ultimately dies in Rook's Rest, her journey could really take her anywhere because these dragons have the ability to fly all over Westeros really quickly. But yeah, that was a really good scene. Agree. Blood and Cheese season 2 cold open. Yes, definitely. Can you imagine if it did happen this year? Who the fuck is this? You getting blocked, buddy? Someone adult website thing. What? But yeah, no, cold open, definitely. Like, it'll probably be halfway through Blood and Cheese, meaning like the cold open will be Blood and Cheese making their way through the crypts. Like, we're not even going to see Mysaria or Daemon talking to Rhaenyra or hiring. They may do like that spy thing where they'll show Blood and Cheese making their way and then actually getting into Helena's room with Jaehaerys and Jaehaera, and then they flash back to Daemon sending that letter from Harrenhal to Rhaenyra at the Black Council, or just Rhaenyra at Dragonstone telling her an eye for an eye, a son for a son. That would be cool. So that, like, it's just basically what you just said, just the cold open, just like I said, halfway through. So we kind of have to figure out, or for the average show watcher who doesn't know what's going to happen, halfway through, they're kind of figuring out, like, oh my, is that really? Got a super chat from Rafael Luna. What's up, dude? Says, let's tell Otto there's no reason those hours on end could not benefit you. Is he implying he's playing both sides? And what's burning at minute 45? That's Mysaria in the whorehouse that she was at, the White Worm Misery. She's known as the White Worm to all the other whores. But when Otto says there's no reason those hours, I don't know. Give me some more clarification. What do you mean when she's saying, like, because Mysaria basically wants she's going to help Otto get rid of Aegon, I guess, or tell Otto where Aegon is if he dismantles the kid fighting ring with the sharpened nails kind of thing. Thank you for that super chat. Give me some more clarity. I don't know. I haven't watched it enough. I'm sure you've had time. You probably could have watched the scene a few times by now, but I've only seen that scene once. I don't know. She might lose the baby first. Visenya, talking about Rhaenyra being pregnant with Visenya. Now that's something that's pretty crazy. So in the books, when Rhaenyra finds out, let me put this fucking sword in my back so that I quit messing with it. That's good. Do I look like Jon Snow? Do I look like the brown Jon Snow? Do I look like Jon Bro? I don't want it. I look, winter is coming. And the day come with it. Long night. Wait. Well, no, yeah, because I do long night. That's like my Jon Snow drawn out impression. So, like, winter is coming. I must protect Sansa Stark. I must protect my sister. I have to listen to Jon Snow to get that back. That was my shit. That was what made me famous here on YouTube. Winter is coming. And the dead come with it. No, that's not it. But I can do Chandra, come with me and I'll give you lemon cakes. Lemon cakes is code word for my penis, Chandra. Would you like my dick now? You're of age, Chandra. You're 20-2 now, Sansa. Laurie's tells Otto, there's no reason those hours on end could not benefit you. So basically saying, yes, that he's going to play both sides. Exactly. He's going to say, like, he's basically saying, like, I'm tired of jacking off over your daughter's feet. Like, Laurie's is kind of, you know how Matt Smith was saying he's an agent of chaos and he kind of just wants to, go wherever the most chaotic situation will lead him. He's kind of in it for himself and that's it, kind of goes with the wind kind of thing. That's how Larry's motivation kind of seems right now. We don't know where his true allegiances lie, and the show is going to give us some clarity on that, because literally even in Fire and Blood, it's mentioned to the day, so year to the day, so 300 AC in A Song of Ice and Fire. No one knows what Larry's motivations were. Like, they just know because he made everyone at the small council, which didn't happen on the TV show. He made everyone at the small council sign a pact. Alicent was excluded because she was a woman, right? But he basically made it seem like, oh, we're all Team Greens. Let's do this, baby. We're all in it till the death, right? But then he ends up like betraying Aegon II and has him poisoned. And then he also plays sides a couple of times, right? So Talia may potentially be Talia Strong, Larry's his sister, right? And like maybe that's how he knew about the handmaiden, but wanted to pretend like he didn't know how many spies there were. Like, I don't know. It's gonna be up in the air. So he's definitely, in my opinion, I think playing multiple sides. Thank you for that super chat, Rafael. I miss hot pie. Me too, John Haymaker. I miss this Rice Krispie treat I keep staring at. I'm gonna go ahead and take a bite out of this big fucker right here. In the books, Rhaenyra loses the baby after she hears about her dad and them crowning Aegon. Yes. Not only that, it sends her into like labor, and she ends up cursing the entire time. She's like, get out, get out, get out. She tells her daughter, Visenya, to die. She wants her to die. She just wants her to get out. And then afterwards, she acts like she doesn't remember cursing her daughter to die. And then her daughter does die. So then she feels like shit. Then the next morning, she has milk of the poppy to help with the pain. And she's quoted as saying something like, they killed her. They killed my only daughter. Screw them, But really, I mean, obviously the stress of that situation is what caused it to happen. But the fact that she's yelling out, like, get out, she kind of like brought it on herself. If you believe in that kind of thing. Yes, but to be fair, Game of Thrones had a way smaller budget and they didn't necessarily have the faith of how successful it was. So they may not have put, and also things get better with time. TV shows, for the most part, if a TV show is good, it's better than the shows that came out before it. So, but yes, I will agree. This season 1 of House of the Dragon is better than first season of Game of Thrones. And I can safely say that now because there's been 9 episodes. So, everybody who's been a part of it, Ryan Condal, George R. Martin, Miguel Sapochnik, Clare Kilner, Greg Yantis, Sara Hess, Fabian Wagner, all of the actors, right? Y'all fucking rock. Imagine if Elena had a dream about blood and cheese and she tried to trick blood. She's definitely going to have a blood. She's definitely going to have a dream about that situation. The thing is it seems like her dreams are directly related to an event that's coming up. So she doesn't just get mixed dreams from the future like DAERON the Drunken got, and those dreams made him go, live a really crappy life because he didn't understand them. Elena seems like she gets premonitions for things that are going to be happening very soon. So she probably won't get that vision until it's too late. You know what I mean? Like she'll probably have it the night before it happens and won't be able to kind of figure out what to do. But she definitely will be aware of it before it happens. Kids Fight Club. Guys, $2 super chat from Cheryl Lindsay, and she says, glad that Rainy's got her badass moment. Hell yeah. One thing, her armor looks amazing, but she's supposed to have a gosh dang whip in her hand. And she may have actually had a gosh dang whip at her wrist, and I just didn't notice it because I've only seen the episode once. What dragon is Daemon singing to in the preview? Well, Breanne Johnson said Vermithor. I don't know why he would be singing to the old kings. I mean, Vermithor may be too lord for the dragon pit. Vermithor was claimed by one of the dragon seeds, and that happens on Dragonstone. So maybe he's going there to... I don't know. I need to rewatch that. It'd be silly for me to try to guess. I'll definitely get back to you on that. Thank you for that super chat. This episode was amazing. Hell yeah, it was. Post-stroke Littlefinger. Good one, dude. Linda Dawkins says, Larry's was saying he's been helping Allison all this time, and there's no reason that he couldn't help Otto right now. Right. He wants to play all of this, every of the sides. Do you think Helena knows the future? Yes. Yes, she does. Great episode. I agree. Sorry, I'm like doing the nervous thing that I do when I need a cigarette. You know what? No, because every time I take a bite of my thing, it makes my mouth have that watery, nasty sound that I don't like when I'm listening to podcasts. And when I hear people eating, I'm like, are you really that inconsiderate that you couldn't eat before your mouth got all oily and stuff? Yeah. Laurie's just loves feet, man. Agreed. What you gonna tell me, Laurie's? Tell me some shit, bro. Tell me what your motivation is. Tell me who you're working for. Tell me right now. That's what she should have did. You could hold the man hostage. If you're a pretty woman and you got sexy feet, whip them just out and just show him the Larry's and be like, look, dude, tell me everything. He'd be like, oh, I gotta jerk off right now. Hang on. I like how he's talking to her while he's doing it. He's like, you see that when she initially takes off her shoes and not her socks, he's like, that's not good enough. The camera pans to show that his hands are just sitting in the lap, right? Now, this scene I did watch a few times because I couldn't believe it was happening. And then when it did happen, I died laughing. I didn't laugh that hard. And unless I'm watching Matt and Shane's secret podcast, which I laugh like that all the time watching that. But yeah, that was hilarious. Really funny. Larry's does just love feet. Man, snack, crackle, pop. I love Fraggle Rock. That's a deep cut. It's Always Sunny episode. That's from like the second season. Most people won't get the Fraggle Rock. What was it? Pepperjack. Pepperjack loves Fraggle Rock. He like basically steals Dennis's lunchbox. Oh, I just gave away the deep cut. But yeah, that's like one of my favorite episodes of It's Always Sunny. Basically, someone is going around. Am I getting this episode right? Someone's going around killing young, blonde, attractive women, and D is bait, and Dennis is watching her, and they put them in like D in they're in a park, and it's really funny because his pimp shows up, and he's like, "Oh, you must be a whore," because the way D is dressed, and he basically tries to steal D away from Dennis, and he it's really funny. Fraggle Rock. Look it up. Watch that episode. It's hilarious. Sir Hunt's reviews. What are the chances the handmaiden that Aegon II assaulted in the last episode is the one that eventually poisons him? Aegon II is poisoned via Lares, via Maester Orwyle. So, we don't exactly know. It's either Orwyle or Larry's, but it's just mentioned that there's a flagon of sweet red, which is Aegon's favorite wine. And when he gets it's noted that when he gets into his litter, he looks really ghastly and pale and stuff. And he has his people take him to the sept to go pray, and he dies before they even get there. But if she does, like, I could definitely see someone that he eventually, maybe not that handmaiden Diana, maybe someone else that he does some crazier shit to down the line will eventually have, a handfall or play a hand. Maybe the reason why Laurie's is the one that poisoned him is because Laurie's gets maybe Aegon makes fun of him and doesn't realize how dangerous of a person Laurie's is. And when Aegon is at his full potential, you're about to see him become a maniac. Every time he raises his sword, he basically is like, I have the power. Like, he just realizes how much power he has. You know what I mean? It's like Thor when he gets the lightning to strike him. Agreed. I'm starting to notice that it becomes a habit, right? So when I read comments that say similar things, even though I don't agree with those comments, like people basically saying, dude, the spoilers. I started putting spoiler warnings, not just in my videos, but in the description, where I'll be like, yeah, I'm talking about the books. So naturally there's going to be spoilers. I start realizing, or I start like having that influence me saying that. And I realize, no, most people don't give a shit what happens in the books, because if they're watching my videos, they probably already read Fire and Blood or know enough about it to realize things like the Rainey's thing. Every time you see something like that, you realize how it's different from the book. So obviously that didn't happen in the books. There was no way for me to spoil that until I seen it. So that kind of thing. Oh shit, got a super chat from Jay. Said this episode was so good. How do you think the finale is gonna wait, wasn't there another part to that? Wasn't there another part to that question? Or am I tripping? The chat on StreamYard is not very helpful. It goes crazy. All right. So the episode was so good. How do you think the finale is going to end? Thank you for the super chat, Jay. I hate huge cliffhangers. I'm going to be fiending until 2024. P.S. Baby Monk so hot. Do you like Aemond? Baby Monk, the Last Kingdom. I've seen leaks on Twitter where someone said the storms in scene is 17 minutes. Then someone who has been sending me information for years, the same account who sent me the information of Daenerys getting stabbed by Jon Snow in the throne room, sent me that information in 2018 as it was being filmed. They also sent it to a bunch of people, but they sent it to me too, right? They told me that the scene is actually 6 minutes and then it's really dark. So one of those two ways. It could be a short, quick, decisive battle where it's darkened so that it's obviously a storm, and they could use lightning strikes to add for the extra effect of lightning, kind of like what they did for the moon in the snow battle at Winterfell in episode 3, Game of Thrones season 8, episode 3, right? One of those two ways. And I hate cliffhangers. It's not necessarily going to be a cliffhanger because we know exactly what's going to happen, and that's going to be blood and cheese. And yes, 2024, but not to worry, I make guaranteed content throughout the long night. And I did see my buddy, the North Must Remember Dragon Knight here on this channel, asked me what's my schedule going to be. And it's pretty much going to be what I've been doing now, just slightly less uploads. I make like 4 videos roughly plus 2 live streams per episode that comes out. It'll probably be cut back to here on YouTube, 3 to 4 videos a week. If YouTube's algorithm allows me to do that, where like those videos still do well, because I put a lot of time and energy into them. So if they still do well, 3 to 4 videos a week. If the views kind of die down when the season goes off, 2 videos a week here on YouTube. But Patreon, that's why I've been pushing that so hard. I want to get as many people to join it as possible. That's where I can upload as much as possible and not have to worry about it affecting the algorithm and like making people unsubscribe because they see videos aren't getting as many views and they're like, oh, this guy's falling off. It's like, as someone who watches YouTube, I even find myself doing that guilty thing where like, if someone that I subscribe to has a video that doesn't have as many views as other videos, I'm not going to click on it because I naturally just think, oh, this video must not be that good. It doesn't have as many views. So that's what it is. It's not like I'm just money hungry individual. No, literally, YouTube will screw you over from uploading too often. So 3 to 4 videos if my views continue to, stabilize how they are, where I'm getting like 5 to 10,000 views a video, that's awesome, guaranteed, right? But then if it doesn't, less. But like I said, Patreon, you can join there for as little as like a couple bucks. I'm gonna be uploading, and this, Northwest, remember, because you're, obviously a member of my Patreon, but as frequently as possible, like every couple of days for sure, at least. And then it's not just going to be audio podcast. Problem with that is Patreon, the way that you upload stuff is terrible. They only allow me to upload a 199 megabyte clip, which is not, that's not good at all for videos. Videos are like most of my videos on YouTube, they're at least 2 gigs, 2.5 gigabytes of data. So I can't upload that to Patreon. Patreon needs to do something where you can upload videos there. I could probably make a Vimeo account and send links there or something, but it just would be easier to upload directly to Patreon. So that's why it's mostly just been audio podcasts right now. And then also, I need access to my office up here because this is where all my stuff is. But, we live out of this room too, so it's hard for me to get in here with my kids always taking naps and stuff. So eventually, when I start making enough, I'm going to get separate equipment. I want to get a laptop. I want to get another microphone so that I could use that to make videos all the time. But yeah, that's my schedule for the long night, and that's going to keep you all entertained. Everybody that wants to watch. Your channel is getting awesome. Thank you, Mad Jack. I came here as soon as the episode is over. Nice, nice. Underboob? Yes, where? I mean, you could argue that, but she needed the information. Don't hate the player. Hate the game of Thrones. Literally. Foot jobs for information? That's way better. I think she probably would have been more humiliated if he was like, show me your bush. I want to see your boobs. Because honestly, if I was a character in Game of Thrones, that's what I would have did. I said, Queen, you want to know? You want to know this information? I'm going to have to see that snatch. Let me see that snatch. That's what I need to get off my wine can, right? Laurie's, not so much. I can't believe I just said that. Yes. Yes. Aemond and Daemon. Osferth. Baby Monk, yes. Daemon Moore. Showing Tamp officially. I want to see a fight with Daemon and Aemond. Oh, you're going to see a fight. That's what I was saying, because we see how badass of a warrior Aemond is, and he beat Kristen Cole. I would absolutely love it if they had an on-the-ground fight scene with swords on their way to their dragon. Or since we're throwing in random scenes that turn out to be awesome, like Maitly's crashing through the floor of the dragon pit, which makes even more sense too, because that's kind of how the dragon pit gets destroyed. Like the ground's kind of ripped up when Sandor is carrying the zombie from underneath. It looks like that's right where Maitly's popped up at. I might have to rewatch that, but there could totally be a scene where Daemon and Aemond fight in Harrenhal on the way to their dragon. And we see Daemon almost die or something until he gets to Caraxes. I'm at least going to turn the microwave while I'm chewing. Yes, they have, and they're actually pretty. It's actually a pretty common fetish. Hi everyone, just finished the episode, so the dance starts. The dance technically started, but we're going to see our first dragon dance next episode. Yes, he should be. I was a bit disappointed. I was hoping we were going to see the conflict that he has with his uncle Bernard, but that was one of the things that got skipped over in the mini time jumps. And I'm not alone in that, because George R. R. Martin feels the same way. He makes his way to Dragonstone to be part of the Black Council, and eventually he dies in 112 AC in the books. So whatever they're doing with his death is going to be something probably way bigger than him just dying. Yes, Eric and Eric Cargill. They follow me on Instagram. Luke and Elliot Tittenser. It's gonna be really tragic, especially now that we have that context of like, dude, you know this is what Aegon does, and you're still choosing to fight for him, you know? So it's going to be amazing. I'm not going to repeat that, but yes. Yes. I don't know. That's what he's called, the Kingmaker in the books, because he's the one who crowns him. Also, Aegon was supposed to be wearing, like, this is the first time we see his heraldry of the yellow dragon on the black field. He's supposed to be wearing a combination of gold, black, and green, but that's bullshit because that's from depictions that I've seen of art. A lot of it unofficially not commissioned art. So a lot of the ideas that we have for stuff is in our head, but the Conqueror's crown definitely is Valyrian steel with massive rubies in it, and that's something that we got one big ruby in the front. And I will say the crown is ill-fitting on Aegon's head, and that's supposed to be even more of like a symbolic type of thing. Like he's not supposed to be wearing that thing. Really, no one is. Aegon the Conqueror used it to conquer Westeros. Maegor the Cruel used it to torture Westeros. Eventually, when DAERON the Young Dragon goes down to conquer Dorne multiple times, that's the last place we see it, right? So it was literally created in trying to conquer the Seven Kingdoms. Ultimately, he successfully conquered all of them except for Dorne. And then it's lost in the pursuit of trying to conquer Dorne. And it's worn by, a few individuals in between there who shouldn't really be wearing it. So it's going to be cool if we do get an Aegon the Conqueror show to see him wearing that crown. That'd be really cool. But it's Valyrian steel. We did get one ruby. To be honest, with as clunky as they made it look, it's like a big thick boy crown, like Valyrian steel crown. It would have actually looked a little bit silly to have the rubies go all the way around. The art that I've seen of that looks awesome, but it would have, I guess, looked a little bit like just less minimalistic and less fitting with the crowns they did. And to be honest, Jaehaerys' crown, Viserys' crown looked really modern. The way they had that intricate gold bands and, silver plate or whatever that was to make the crown. This one looks ancient. It looks like something from, it looks like it was crafted by the dwarves, from Lord of the Rings. So I think that's kind of the point. That's what symbolic of Aegon's reign is like. He's forging the kingdoms together. It's very savage time if you want to go from his version of like how he sees it. He's got to unite Westeros to stand against the Long Night. Like the Iron Throne in the books is this massive, insanely twisted thing, and that's why it's cutting everybody. It's kind of like how they did it on this show, but it's got long stairs. It's got so many swords that you have to walk up like 10 or 15 stairs just to get to the top of it, because when you sit in it, you're that much over everybody else. And it was made by blacksmiths, and they didn't want to make it comfortable. Aegon thought that a ruler should never sit comfortably, but it was just this monstrosity that was put together. And like I said, the swords are very much forced together. It doesn't look smooth, and it wasn't made to look architecturally awesome like a lot of the Valyrian, architecture is, especially on Dragonstone. It was just meant to be symbolic of like, you see what I did? Kind of thing. That bush, right? Like I mean, not no feet. I need something more than that. And we know Allison definitely had a bush. This is the medieval era, baby. I like to see the queen's poop. I like to see the queen's queen. Yeah. Carl, because he looks like him. Carl, gotta save Carl. Rick, no, this is my Abraham from The Walking Dead. Rick knows every fine grain of said shit. That's that really famous scene shortly before Abraham and Glenn die, and when Sir Hunt stopped watching. The Queen's mange, the Queen's beefi. I want to see the Queen's cunt. Took it too far. Definitely got demonetized because I said the C word. YouTube won't let you say the C word. That's bullshit. It's a bunch of Australians out there like, what? I'm in my youth. No, I can't say. Wait, that's not Australian. Let me do Australian. I got you. Hang on. Let me hit this. Delta 8. Crikey. Crikey. Watch out. I did Steve Irwin as a kid. That's my go-to Australian. Crikey. There's a this one's poisonous. He'll kill you. What? That's a terrible Australian. All right, let me try again. This one's deadly. 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 Yeah. Sort of like reassuring. Nah, let me listen to some Australian on my phone real quick. I just need to hear a slight accent. I'll pick it up. Hang on. Australian accents are actually really challenging for Americans, and it's the way they talk. I saw like a Vice video on it or some shit. But it's like a combination of 4 different English speaking accents, and that's why it's ever really hard for Americans to do. But this guy right here being interviewed on the Australian Today show, that's a pretty classic clip. If I watch that, I should be able to pick it up. I think I'm getting it. Me wife comes in and says, someone ran into the shop. So I jumped out of bed, put me undies on. I seen the car smashed. Walking back to the car. What are you doing, mate? Don't be a hero, mate. I'm not being a hero, mate. All right, yeah. This dude is awesome. Go along with that, mate. You better be a hero, mate. That's right. My favorite is the little girl who's being interviewed and she's like a surfer or something. And she's like, my dad got really fat. My dad weighed 90 kilos. And then like he got really fat. She's just putting her dad on blast. Oi. Ew, what's that? Travis Fimmel's Aegon the Conqueror. Hell yeah. Well, good day, mate. Let's put another shrimp on the barbie. Wait, Australia exists? Whoa. We got people watching us from Australia. Let's be careful. Also, Millie Alcock is Australian. And she's really cool. She's our queen, let's not forget. Crikey, look at the size of that beaver. I don't think that's Australian. Austin Malinowski. Also, I'm sure I'm late to this, but why was Aegon under that altar? He was just hiding. It's just symbolic. He goes to the Sept and he goes to the last place they would think to find him. Initially, when I was watching it, I was like, why the is like, I thought the same thing. Then I immediately was like, oh, well, if I was looking for him, I would never go to the Sept. And I certainly wouldn't check underneath the statue of, one of the representations of the Faith of the Seven, How are you guys tagging each other? You type the @ sign, like the ampersand. Is it ampersand? I think the @ thing, and then the person's username, and it should pop up. Like if you start typing the username and the person's username pops up, click that to let it autofill. Why do you think he was under there? Oh, because he was trying to run away from the crown. It's pretty obvious. I didn't think I need to answer that. They sure cleaned up Aegon's discovery. Why did someone say they hope the White Worm got out? It seems like she's pretty ahead of the game. Yeah, well, because the Otto had her whorehouse burned. Yes, and that actually kind of makes sense. That I guess doesn't make sense why George never did that, because they are in direct competition with each other, and like it's never really mentioned that they face off in the books. But Mysaria very much is working as the mistress of whispers for the Blacks, and we see Lares is the the Master of Whispers or Lord Confessor for the Greens right now. So. I don't really know how to feel with Cole. Like, I mean, obviously Fabian Frankel's doing an amazing job. It's just Cole's character. He's bitter, obviously. I mean, I could kind of relate to that a little bit. Like, I can kind of relate to a lot of the character's choices. That's what makes the show so good. Like, if I was in that situation, I could see the mentality, to want to do something like that. But what part of Cole are you disappointed in? For me, I would say he killed Lyman. Obviously, that was going to happen. Like, he either slit his throat or threw him from the window. But in the books, that's what he did in the books. On the TV show, he smashed his head into one. It's so crazy because I swear to God, I was thinking, what would that thing look like if it was slung into somebody's face by one of the slingers in the books, right? We kind of got to see it. It's really heavy, and it immediately smashed the old man's skull. And apparently, as you age, your skull gets softer. One of my favorite props they used for this show was in the Stepstone battle, and I think they used it in the tourney in the first episode. Was these maces that they filled up with blood, and like every time the stuntman would get hit in the face with one of them, they'd get paid like extra for getting hit with the face with it. But it looked so awesome. Like the Stark dude got hit in the face with that. I don't know what made me say that. Beastberry smash. Oh yeah, because we were talking about Beastberry. Yeah. Did you see how they did a close-up shot of his foot? Made me think of the old maester from GOT that pretended to be hunched over and decrepit. You're talking. Yeah, we get high for the first time. It's going down. I gotta stay. I just was listening to that song earlier. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to keep talking about his foot and how much he likes jerking off on feet. But I think the one backlash, like I said, is probably going to be from the clubfoot community. The CFC, they probably will be a little bit mad that they were portrayed in such a light of having a fetish of the feet nature. I'm trying to be funny. Yeah, I don't really know what to think of that. I'm kind of still taking it in. That's part of like doing this live. It's like it gives me the opportunity to sort of, the opportunity to react live, but then also I suffer from not being able to have clear thoughts because I've only seen the episode once. Yes, I know for a fact he wouldn't have killed Cole because Cole plays a big role in this story, but I thought for sure he was going to kill Harold Westerling, the Lord Commander. I thought for sure that was what he was going to do. Crikey, look at the size of that beaver. I think I already said that one. I have answered this, but the meaning of the beast under the board is literally Rainey's coming out from under the floor. And it was this episode we saw that. Like we first heard her mention it in the last episode, beware the beast under the boards, but that was Rainey's. Like Rainey's being corralled into the dragon pit, which was awesome because that's exactly where she needed to go. And then she, made her way down to Mayleys, who traditionally we saw in the dragon pit in the Pink Dread episode. I believe it was episode 6. We saw the pig being brought from that ramp, and also Vermax gets brought from that ramp. So the dragons are kept underneath there. And then when a dragon rider shows up, when they're leaving, they lead their dragon from underneath there. Mayleys is not big enough to be excluded from the dragon pit. So Mayleys was kept in the dragon pit. But Rhaenys would have had to take her up that ramp and then out the door that was closing, and the ramp that was probably surrounded by people. One thing, and I got so fire and blood happy, and I didn't even think about this. One thing about this is that it raises the question of does Rhaenys not give a crap about innocent life? Because a lot of those people that died when she did that honestly didn't have anything to do with that situation. So it's like they were just there at the wrong time, kind of thing. It's actually kind of good because it shows you she's not just like this person that you can just root for, right? You kind of have to like question that, just like, like it's not fair to say, oh, Aegon is just a rapist, that's it. Like, no, he's a rapist. Yes, rape is terrible, right? But he's a product of his environment. So it's kind of like it works for Rhaenys. It's like, yes, she's team black. Ultimately, we want her to go and get the war started with Rhaenyra, but you see that she's kind of bickering with Rhaenyra, and Rhaenyra mentions that Rhaenys going to King's Landing with Vaemond and Velaryon to make that new claim for the heir to Driftmark goes against them anyway, because they're going to question Lucerys's legitimacy. And even though she took Baela's ward, she did that to honor her daughter Laena's memory. So they, Rhaenys' relationship with Rhaenyra makes a lot more sense than it does in the books, because in the books it's kind of assumed that Daemon killed Laenor to marry Rhaenyra, and the two of them didn't even wait half a year before they got married. So obviously, it's something that I never even thought about, but obviously Rhaenys would not like the person who conspired with, you're married to the person who killed her son, right? Conspired with individuals to take her son out of the picture. So of course, even though Rhaenys is team black in the books, of course she would be like, hold up. You killed my son. I'm not gonna just be, team Targaryen, team blacks all the way, right? So that makes a lot of sense. So this is another thing that's just makes the show amazing. Maegor the Misunderstood. Yes. Yes, Maegor the Misunderstood. Let's not get into a Maegor the Cruel discussion. Yes. Hell yeah. And she even had time to get her armor on too. Like in the books, she has the bronze and copper scales, which look like that's what they did for the TV show. Although maybe they aren't copper, maybe they're leather scales. I don't know. It's hard for me to tell, but it just looks amazing. It's definitely hints from the books, but the TV show made it their own. But the fact that she was able to do that is just awesome, because she's still in that armor when the Black Council happens, and when Rhaenyra wears her crown and she stands over the painted table and she sends her sons to go and do what she should be doing herself, but she's pregnant or just had a baby. So, that's awesome. Looking at my face. What? Oh, because you're watching my videos. Well, yes, that's awesome. So I was right when I just read that. Thank you for that, Jay. If Rhaenys did it, Aegon would have been king for a day. Burned them all. There's gonna be a lot of people, and I haven't looked online at all since watching this, but there's gonna be a lot of people that are saying, Rhaenys, you idiot, you could have ended the war right then and there. But then there wouldn't be a TV show. Like I said, maybe they filmed another version where she did, and that was just the end of it. That was just the TV show's version of the Dance of the Dragons. It was ended by Rhaenys. And after that, Rhaenys becomes the queen. She just goes and sits the Iron Throne and posts up in King's Landing. Doesn't worry about Rhaenyra. She's like, Rhaenyra's got Daemon. It'd be funny. She's like, I told y'all at the Great Council 101 AC should have went to me. Now it did. Burn them all. Burn them all. Exactly. Alicent not even ready for this clapback armor. Stannis needed a dragon. Stannis could have potentially, or can, because he's still alive in the books, can potentially ride a dragon via his grandmother. Rael. Targaryen, sorry. Hell yeah, almost knocked my soda in my lap. I just got that text message. We are at 2 hours. I think this is the longest stream that I've done, except for the one that I did with my buddy Ray. Thank you all so much for watching. Video will be out, like I said, hopefully by tomorrow night. If not at the latest Tuesday, there will probably be some content from this episode uploaded to my Patreon before then. Please go join. The $1 tier is out, and that's because there's so much content that's uploaded there. But there's a $3 tier, so you can check that out too if you want. Thank you so much for watching this live. Thank you for watching this. If you're watching it afterwards, please slap a like on this video. Please make sure you subscribe, and then also turn your notifications on, so that way you'll get alert every single time I drop a video throughout the wait for House of the Dragon Season 2. Remember, we only have one more episode left before we have to wait at least a year for it to come out, so go ahead and subscribe. I'll keep you entertained. My videos will hopefully, like I said, be informative, and then also at the very least entertaining. That's my goal. I want to try to, when I say entertaining, I mean make you laugh, because that's the only form of entertainment, in my opinion, that matters. Obviously, entertainment. I'm just rambling. All right, I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Thank you all so much for watching. Along night until Jesus Bustari. Oh crap, super chat. Thank you for that super chat. Walks as Elk says, where do you think Arya will end up while sailing west? And what are some craziest Song of Ice and Fire theories that you believe? All right, so this would be the last question that I answer before I get out of here. Thank you for the super chat, Walks as Elk. Well, she's going to see Lonely Light, because that's literally west of Westeros. She will probably end up making her way to a Shy by the Shadow. It's a globe. It's a planet. So, like, people who have been west of Westeros before have literally been like, there's nothing out there, because they go really far and then they turn around and come back. But Arya is not the type to quit. So she'll keep going, and then she'll probably end up in a Shy. If they ever do a Daenerys Jon Snow show, they could talk about how Arya ended up over there. Or maybe they could do it from her POV. That's what's west of Westeros. Craziest Song of Ice and Fire theories that I believe. Not very many, because they're like, before I read the books, I didn't know enough to dissect a theory, but most of the most crazy outlandish tinfoil theories are horse crap. Like, it's just, George writes in a way that leaves enough stuff ambiguous where a lot of people could easily feed into some things, right? But you asked me which one is one that I believe. Okay, here's one for you. Lady Forlorn. And I'm just making this up right now. You probably never even heard this. Lady Forlorn is a Valyrian steel sword that is taken from initially this dude known as the King of the Fingers. He's the King of the Fingers, which is the place where Littlefinger is from. Lady Forlorn is wielded by Corwin Corbray, who's in the Vale, and he's the one person that when he shows up, he's the one person that Littlefinger's the most afraid of because of his relationship with, his wife, who he killed, obviously, right? So Lysa, Sansa's aunt, but because technically this is a stupid theory. This isn't even a crazy tinfoil one, but because Lady Forlorn was stolen by the King of the Fingers. Maybe if Littlefinger is secretly an agent of chaos, he wants to get back that lost family weapon. I don't know. It's stupid. Let me give you something better. Here you go. The Maesters witnessed the Dance of the Dragons. They chronicled them. We're learning from the Maester's perspective how some of this story unfolds, right? In Fire and Blood, you're reading their perspective of what happens in the Dance of the Dragons. That alone, watching the death of the small folk, watching the Seven Kingdoms get torn apart, watching any peace and civility that had been formed during Jaehaerys' reign, watching the king fall to pieces, watching it fall to sunder, knowing that the Valyrian freehold and their dragons caused a bunch of problems over in Essos, and they enslaved everyone, and slavery's really bad, right? The Maesters are very much the historians and the keepers of all of that knowledge. So why would they allow dragons to come back into the world? This is also confirmed by Maester Marwyn. This isn't even a crazy theory. This is confirmed. The Maesters just realized that, and you can't even deny the theory. It's fact. Marwyn literally says the Maesters are against dragons. It's not like they've always been against dragons. No, what we're watching on screen, what's about to happen with the Dance of the Dragons and how it tears the kingdom apart, and then they know what happens in Valyria. This is what makes the Maesters say, hey, let's do everything in our power to maybe not bring back dragons. So, long story short, tragedy in Summerhall happens. Aegon the unlikely, he's the second son of a second son, or I'm sorry, the eighth son. He's so far removed from the line of succession that he's called Aegon the Unlikely because no one would ever think that many people would die in order to make Aegon the king. He's the little kid in Dunk and Egg, Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, right? He's basically half a peasant. He lives his whole life doing really good. He's a really good king. His biggest problem is his children. His children want to marry who they want to marry for love. That's a very common thing. The same thing happens with Jaehaerys. The same thing is happening with Viserys, or was happening with Viserys and Rhaenyra at the beginning of the show. He decides in order to bring back, in order to unite Westeros and stop a bunch of war and just sort of save the world, he probably gets dragon dreams later in life. He knows he's going to have to bring back dragons. He sees Daenerys walking out of a funeral pyre, or just a big, flame, like a big fire with live dragons attached to her. And he thinks it's him because in the dragon dreams, the person who's like envisioning what's happening sometimes experiences it as if they are the person. This is the crazy tinfoil part that I kind of came up with. I'm sure other people have too, because we all read the same damn books. But he sees that and he decides he wants to get all of his family together at Summerhall, and he needs them around him because he thinks that in order for this ritual to happen, they have to die in order for them to bring back dragons. The Maesters know about this. They correspond. They're known as the Grey Rats. They set up certain marriages. They set up the marriage between House Stark and the Riverlands, and it's because they knew that all those Ned Stark's kids would be wargs, because they know that technically the Tullys in the Riverlands have a lot of blood of the First Men, because at the end of A Dance of Dragons, a lot of Cregan Stark's wolves that he brings down south end up marrying into deceased widowed women of the Riverlands. So really, Ned Stark's children are mostly First Men blood. George, you're the shit, dude. All of that aside, the Maesters know about what Aegon the Unlikely is planning on doing, and then he says, hey, yo! The Maesters say, hey, yo, let's put a stop to this. And that's the big theory. All right, so I'm going to get the hell out of here. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you could, please, you know what? Slap a like on this video, but if someone watched this, can you timestamp it? I need to start doing that for my videos, but it's really hard when it's 2 hours long. So I want to timestamp it for where I talk about this, and that. And you know why that'll never happen? Because my ADHD is just too severe, right? Whereas in, it would be impossible. You'd have to change the timestamp every 30 seconds or 15 seconds or something, because I'm all over the place. But that last part, that was at least 5 minutes of why I don't like crazy theories, because they're like a rabbit hole to fall into. And most of them are nonsense. And once you read the books at least one time, you can debunk 90% of the theories that people put out there. But all right, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you all so much for watching. Along that, please slap a like on this video and subscribe. And also consider checking out my Patreon, where you get extra content where I can say whatever the hell I want to. As el risas pues dare extra